Is all self-help advice just nonsense? We've been hearing the same broken record for years. Wake up early, read books, work out, eat healthy, manage your time. Sounds great, right? But let me ask you something. If all of this really works and it's that simple, why are over 90% of people still lost in life? Why do most early risers still waste the rest of the day? Why does every fresh start end up in the same old place? Why do the people who start with us get ahead while we're still saying, I'm not ready yet? Why do we know what's right and still choose wrong? You probably don't have a solid answer, and that's okay. Here's the real problem. Most people are following advice that was never meant for them. They grab someone else's formula and try to force it on their own life. They memorize quotes. They repeat trendy tips and still feel more lost than when they started. They blame themselves. They start to believe they're the problem, instead of realizing the path they're on was broken from the beginning. That's why I'm not here to give you another tip. I'm here to hand you a key. A key that opens two doors. One that leads you to live like everybody else, or one that helps you walk your own path and build a life that actually fits you. But before you take that key, you need to ask yourself, why do you keep trusting doors that don't belong to you? Why do you believe in advice that deep down doesn't match your lifestyle? Believe me, your problem isn't that you don't know. It's that you're not trying to know yourself, because every day we're fed sugar-coated noise. We hear the same shiny promises. Wake up before sunrise, your life will flip 180 degrees. Write your goals, the universe will work for you. Sleep 6 hours, you'll be a millionaire. But you've already done that. And what happened? You memorized failure more than you ever saw success. We don't believe these things because we're weak. We believe them because we're holding on to hope, even if that hope's been broken for a long time. The real disaster is when you start thinking the problem is you, not the garbage advice you were handed. So ask the real question, why doesn't most self-help work for most people? Simple, because you're trying to force-fit your life into a mold that was never made for you. Some tips work for someone with total freedom, but crush someone drowning in responsibility. One tip helps a pro athlete, but fails a dad changing diapers at 5 a.m. So if something worked for them, that doesn't mean it'll work for you. Not because you're lazy, not because you're weak, but because there is no one-size-fits-all path. And if you try to walk a path that's not yours, you won't just fall behind. You'll get lost completely. So let's pause. Let's stop repeating advice that doesn't fit us, and let's start something new. Let's talk about how to build your path from the inside out. Step 1. Know yourself. Before you follow any tip, before you try any method, you need to look inward. Understand who you really are. Do you love structure or freedom? Does your brain work better in the morning or at night? Do you work best alone or around others? Knowing yourself is the most powerful GPS you'll ever have. And when you know who you are, you'll stop chasing what just looks right and start walking toward what actually feels right. But even then, you'll still be hit with advice every day. So here's the key. Treat every tip like raw material. First, take the essence, not the surface. Don't just memorize advice. Understand the reason behind it. Wake up at 5 a.m. isn't the point. The point is, find a quiet moment that lets you focus. Second, customize the tip. Don't force your life to match the advice. Let the advice match your life. If the tip says read for an hour, maybe you read 10 minutes here and there. It's not about the ritual, it's about the result. Third, when you hear a perfect piece of advice, ask, where does this actually fit in my life? They say, wake up full of energy. Ask yourself, have I ever felt that? They say, follow your passion. Ask, am I working just to survive or to live my dream? The more you question every shiny tip, the more you build a system that's actually yours. And once you do that, you'll ask, okay, how do I turn all this into steps I can actually use? Let's get practical. Step 1. Instead of dreaming about success, go study someone who failed and kept going. Enough with the fantasy, enough with the hype. If you want to change, stop reading success stories. Start reading about failure. People who got wrecked, people who stood back up because they had no other choice. Real stories show what the fake content hides. People don't grow in straight lines. They mess up. They pivot. They rise again. Step 2, test any tip for 1 week. If it sounds awesome, you don't trust the hype. Tweak it to fit you. Try it for 7 days. If it works, keep it. If it doesn't, ditch it. Step 3, stop writing massive goals. Start watching your daily behavior. Behavior shapes your life, not dreams. Track your patterns. When do you sleep? What do you eat? What do you avoid? Change the pattern, the goal follows. Step 4, see personal development for what it really is. There's a difference between people trying to help and people selling you a dream. Growth isn't a montage. It's that moment you say, I'm going to work on me, my way, my speed. Step 5. Don't trust people. Not even me. Yeah, not even me. Just because it feels right doesn't mean it is right. Not every confident speaker understands your life. Not every deep quote fits your reality. Some will sell you a dream. Some will wake you up. But no one's in your mind except you. So question everything. Even what feels good. Try your way, fail your way, succeed your way. Because at least then, you'll know that one step was truly yours. Before I go, I'd remember this. Self-help isn't a checklist. Real growth is hearing everything, filtering it through your brain, and building a life that actually fits. Try one tip, adjust it, make it yours, and drop a comment. I changed this advice from this to this. I'll read every story, and maybe your story will inspire someone else in the next video. Thanks for your time. Let's keep walking this path together.